conversation here, brainstorm session, and then we're gonna continue that the next time we meet and actually dig in and think about concrete projects we could do. So, what are things that you could do on your own to be more physically active in your community, or in your own life? We talked about a bunch of things earlier. Okay, we'll go around.
Like instead of like having like a whole like 3-hour session, like just me and my Xbox, just like let it go for a while, go out to the park, go with my friends.
So go to the park.
For me, I like to run a lot. So like I'll set up a day where me and my friends will go to River Valley and we play manhunt. And like it's like tag sort of, but we run a lot and it's big. It's like a big space area, so you can run a lot. When like you're being chased, you have to run a lot. So.
I'm gonna do like Chris said, get a bunch of your friends together and go to the park and play a game of softball or baseball, basketball.
Anything else?
Stairs.
Stairs. Cool. Like stairs on you, right? Okay. What can you do with, say, small groups of people? We talked a little about like going and playing a basketball game or a softball game. Is there anything else you could do?
There's something.
I mean, the only thing you can do with a group is a group sport, like a group activity. Trish out here.
You guys can all do the same thing.
Dance.
Dance?
Or
Dance
or make your own mini version of the Olympics.
Gotcha.
That's what we did in my school last year. It was horrible though.
Very cool. What about things that we could actually do in the community? So we talked about sort of our own physical activity. What kinds of changes could we make to our streets or to our parks? Things like that that we could do.
So like block
Think about I'm thinking about my 90-year-old grandmother. She's turning 90 in a month. It's amazing. And when I think about her being more active, the first thing I think about is actually making sure that she has somewhere to sit. Because she's not going to go for a walk unless she has a bench close by, because she can't walk that far. So I know that if I'm going to go on a walk with her, that I got to make sure that there's a bench probably every 5 minutes. You know, because she's 90. So things like that, like that's something that I think about. Is there anything else that you guys think about, you know, on the streets, in the parks, other stuff?
Clean water fountains.
Excellent. Excellent. Really, really important. Anything else?
Wait, what was I gonna say? More community centers like this.
It's really important. Community centers, water fountains.
Chris?
They just popped into my head, but like when we usually watch TV or a basketball game, there's usually these commercials talking about NBA cares and they're going to these places like Georgia and Atlanta. Why are they not in the Bronx when we actually need it? Since we just finished reading this, there's bikes in DC, all those other places, but here where we actually need it, where it's like, a rapper once said that for the Black and Latino youth, all our role models are either rapping or they hoop or they play basketball. So how come they're not? Yeah, exactly. How come they're not here? So what I'm thinking is we can probably get to them or get to somebody that can get to them to get them to bring them here, and that would be like the incentive instead of being money or getting tickets. It can be meeting someone you never think you'd meet.
And a lot of things about the sport things, like you have to go to them. Like for Bronx, there's no like I never seen like basketball players or whatever come to the Bronx. I had like an event in the Bronx. You have to go like Manhattan or Brooklyn just to see them. Like that's what I feel like that's like.
And not many people know about those opportunities either.
What about going back to the issue of the police? So there are a lot of comments about them profiling different kids in different communities. You know, if you're in the park, they'll walk up to you right away even if you're not doing anything and think that you're doing drugs or something else. So what would you do in that scenario? In terms of but I mean in terms of the cops, like how can we make that better so that we can actually go to our park and feel safe and not accosted by the cops?
I mean, I don't know if you can do anything about that because
It's a personality.
it's just like for them, it's just like they say it's just the uniform, but like they're gonna do it anyway because they assume that all people in the park, people of color or minorities is up to something.
Have you guys been to those borough-wide events that they started, which was the goal was to improve police and community resident relations? They had one in Van Cortlandt last summer. I forget what they're called, but I know that was towards that effort of seeing police as more friendly or community minded. What?
The Play Streets is actually one of those initiatives.
Oh, okay.
Through Cal, Police Athletic League. Does anyone know the Police Athletic League?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's an effort by the police to get, more involved. Yeah.
Well, I feel like at the end of the day, their excuse will be, "Oh, I'm doing my job," because they feel like, "Oh, how are we gonna get the streets cleaner if we're not gonna be able to check these people that we think are either have a gun or," and then Bloomberg's well, I don't know if it's true, but Bloomberg's excuse was, "We have to check the people that we think have these things, because if we're not frisking them, that one person could probably go and kill somebody. So we have to frisk everybody."
And another thing, like since other neighborhoods, is there's two type of police. It's called like the cool one and the asshole.
Yes.
Or the rookie or the veteran. It's like the cool one will say, all right, I need you guys to move on. You have complaints that people telling me to do this, do that, and they'll talk to you. And then there's the asshole who just grab up and throw you on the wall and start checking you right there. They'll be like, "Oh, you guys, what are you guys doing? You selling drugs?" And it's like, come on, we just chill on the corner.
But at the
just
same time,
right here, just like
both
that.
of those cops could be one person. Like
Yeah,
I've
that's
seen like the two faces, and it's crazy how
Yeah.
opposite they are.
The other group, they're not directly in the police force, but the Parks Department has what they're called PEP officers. You guys ever seen them? The Parks Enforcement Patrol.
No.
So what's interesting is that, the Bronx actually has the greatest amount of parks land in the city. If you compare it to all the other boroughs, the other 4 boroughs, we have the greatest amount of parks land, but we have the least amount of PEP officers. So we only have 8. We have 8 PEP officers to patrol all of our lovely parks. And some of those parks, I've heard similar complaints about those cops or those PEP officers too. So that sometimes they are potentially not harassing, but just not. I don't know what the right word is.
There's more people in here than.
Not professional.
Not professional. Good word. Not professional. And then some of them are amazing. Some of them
You
have
can't
done
always- you
wonderful,
can't always be
wonderful stuff.
friends with people,
So
you're gonna take advantage.
it's a mix.
You
It's a
gotta
mixed
be
bag.
professional about it, like I said,
Yeah.
please move.
You said there's 8 in the Bronx, right?
Yep.
How many are there like in?
Total, I think Manhattan has. It's actually in the fact sheet that info sheet. So this is 2011. So it could be a little bit more, but the Bronx has 9. Sorry, Manhattan has 34. Staten Island has 13. 12 in Queens and 10 in Brooklyn. So.
It's the only reason why we have this, and we have more.
Malik and Jeremiah. Anyway, so